Hi guys, welcome to the Honest Perfume Reviewer. I've just kind of had an epiphany the last couple weeks. I've just realized I can no longer accept free sample sets and like discovery sets, even if they're small, like 1.5, 2 mils. If it's like a beautiful little sample set and I've been given it, it's been given to me by someone, a shop, or maybe the perfumer, or the perfume house, because I feel obliged to say positive things about it. And this just recently happened to me. I was invited to this event to meet the new perfumer for Mona di Orio. Um, Mona di Orio passed away in 2013, I think, or something like that, quite young. I think it was kind of a sudden death, if I remember correctly. She was only like 42. And now they have a new perfumer, and he's from Sweden, and he was invited to this niche perfumery downtown, and I got a ticket. And it was really fun, and I feel very appreciative to be able to go to this and to meet him and hear him describe his 8 new fragrances. And I think that they were ready to launch like before the pandemic, and now it's kind of been delayed because of it and how things have been. So they're now launching these 8 fragrances, and the new line I think is called Elianea Collection from Mona di Orio, and Fredrik Dahlman is the perfumer behind these 8 fragrances. And they're really, really pricey. Retail price is $400 for 50 mil, because he's used, if I've understood right, very luxurious ingredients. And during this little event, we were allowed to sniff all the main ingredients that he put in there, and then kind of we had them on separate blotters, and then when you kind of waved them all in front of your nose, you kind of got the whole picture and how he built it up. It was really interesting to hear him talk about not only that, but like how he, where he gets his inspiration, and that he, ever since he was a little child, he remembered smells, and it was really, really nice. And they gave us each a sample set with 5 of the fragrances that we got to try there and to bring home and to try at home. And okay, so the honest truth is about these fragrances is that a few of them are quite beautiful, but not maybe my cup of tea. And I would not pay $400 for any of them. I think it's ridiculous, and I don't think that the fragrances have the uniqueness that the perfumer himself thinks that they do. I mean, there is a unique fragrance in there or two. I think like the rose fragrance called Rose Concrete is a very beautiful, but for me, a little bit overly sweet rose. And in the opening, it does have like a metallic quality. And I think if you visualize that fragrance, you're supposed to think of like a big red rose, kind of in a vase in a stone room that's kind of giving off a coldness, kind of a refreshing kind of component to this fragrance or something like that. I mean, but kind of when it dried down, it went really, really sweet on my skin. Then there was the tulip one. This is a Dutch company. I don't know if I mentioned that, but like the perfumer said, many people say tulips don't have a smell, but if you're in front of 10,000 tulips, it's definitely going to give off a really refreshing kind of smell. There's that wateriness. He's kind of gotten the stems, the flowers, and everything into the juice. And I really think that it is beautiful. It reminds me a little bit of the same feeling I get from Beige from Chanel. It's, to me, a very beautiful perfume, but I would never wear it because it's just not my cup of tea, smelling like a fresh tulip. And I think that it's just not, how do I say this? I don't know. I don't understand why the price point is so high. But maybe I'm just not there yet. That could be the thing. But I'm feeling super uncomfortable saying these words because this guy seemed really nice and I was invited to the event and therefore I should be positive. But I'm not. I want to give you the truth. I don't think it's worth the money. I think if you are a rose freak, you should definitely try like the rose fragrance. If you're into coffee and patchouli, there's Cafe Simien, which is kind of an unusual take on coffee. I think the perfumer has gone more to like illustrate the taste instead of the smell of coffee. It's a little bit bitter. It's a little bit kind of acidy. I didn't like it that much. There was one real scrubber in there, wood Vermillion. And then there was the tobacco one was beautiful in the opening, but when it dries down, it kind of went kind of generic. And then there was another beautiful one that I haven't been able to try at home called Four Thieves. And then I wasn't able to stay till the end, so I missed a few of these, um, a few of these kind of descriptions where they went through like how they built up the fragrances. But I just realized that I'm going to say no to sample sets because I can't be honest and feel good about it. I just feel guilty and I feel horrible. And I spoke about it in my Swedish like Facebook group, and I had to take down the video because I felt so bad for the people that own the store here where they had the event, because of course they invite people there kind of as an influencer kind of thing, and they kind of want help with that marketing. But I don't know if I can go to these events because it's not my job to help them. It's my job to help you guys. This is what I want to do. I want to be the honest journalist kind of perfume reviewer. I want to tell you the truth. And the truth is, I just don't think that it was worth the price. Some of them were nice. Some of them were not so great. One or two maybe were unique. I think they're definitely worth trying, but I just would never spend my money on that. And another discovery set with like 5 fragrances that I was given not too long ago was from the house of MaLo, MaLo, and it's made by, or the creator behind it, not the perfumer, but the creator is like a Swedish, really famous entrepreneur, and I think he just, he likes fragrances and wanted to kind of get in there and play, and wanted to have his own house, his own brand, and just kind of have fun with it because he's like a billionaire already, so why not? But the perfumes just they're just not good. I mean, I think one of them was like kind of an orangey chocolate fragrance. Was it Queen Flora? It was called. I can't remember. These aren't even on Fragrantica. I don't know where you can buy them, except here in Sweden. I know where you can buy them, but I was not inspired by these fragrances. I don't think they were very good. There's much better, and it's kind of a high price point. And I feel really guilty about saying this, but again, it's not my job to market the fragrances. If they want to give me something, it's up to them. But from now on, I will like only accept samples like if I buy something. Maybe if they give me I buy something for $200 or $300, they give me a sample or two, I wouldn't feel guilty about it. But if someone gives me like a fancy discovery set, I can't do it anymore. I remember getting a really nice sample set from Goldfield Banks a while back, and I really, really liked those fragrances, I'll have to say. I think I would have probably acquired more than one of them had I had the chance to actually try them in store in Sweden, but in Stockholm at least, nobody has them. Or maybe Fab Lab by now has a few, I'm not sure. But I really love Desert Rosewood when I bought it. And the reason I passed it on is it's gone a little bit too masculine. It's a little bit too heavy, a little bit too hard to wear. But I do think it's a beautiful fragrance. And that video, you can go back and check it out if you want. I've reviewed all those fragrances. I felt like I was totally honest there. But I have passed that on. I tend to not accumulate samples. I try to make a decision and then kind of pass it on so more people can try. And I don't like to have, stash kind of building up and just kind of shoe boxes of samples. I would just rather kind of work on my collection and keep the things that I really love, and not just have not remember what I have. Now I know exactly what I have. I remember what I have. I don't have to check. So it's all up here. So that's kind of at the level where I want to stay. My collection has grown to a little bit over 50 bottles. That's a little too much. Well, it's an okay point as long as it doesn't, grow from here. So I do need to let a few things go, and I'm usually pretty good at that. But I bought a lot of bottles this summer. I'm going to be reviewing them shortly, but I just wanted to kind of share these thoughts with you. And I do think it's a problem in Fragcom that a lot of people are actually, receiving free stuff and want to keep doing so. And I think they feel obliged to say positive things. So what you need to do is when you listen to reviewers that have many followers and they're getting their things free, you kind of have to listen between the lines. They might talk about their favorite and their next favorite, their third favorite, and the ones that they don't mention are the ones that they don't like. I know like Sebastian, the perfume guy, he usually says, you know, this is a good solid release, but he might say that, you know, it's not so unique, or I have similar ones or things like that. But, you know, you can see he's not blown away by them. And that kind of tells me something. And I'm really looking for perfume reviewers, kind of like myself. They're a little bit smaller, maybe 1,000 followers or less, or maybe 2,000, something like that, because we don't get free stuff that much. I've been offered a free bottle like once. So, but yeah, so you kind of have to listen to those code words, and you know that when they're really going oohing and ahhing about it, like this is fantastic, I can't stop wearing this, then you know it's usually true. But I usually always kind of avoid when someone's making like a top 10 or top 20 list, and you know they have some kind of collaboration going on with certain houses, like Demi Rawling does this, and she talks about BDK, and I know they're friends, she's friends with them, and she talks about Inicio and PDM, and I think that there's some, I think it's her boyfriend's parents' company or something, then I kind of, and I know she's given free bottles by Stefan Humbert Lucas 777, and it's so obvious, and I think she likes the fragrances. I don't think she's like right out lying, but she's giving them a lot of airtime. And had another company, you know, sent her a bunch of free full bottles, she might have given them the same. So I don't know. I'm kind of looking for the smaller ones, although I do love her way of describing fragrances. I think Demi is really talented, and she's beautiful, and she has that charm. So yeah, it's hard, because what I try to do is I read on Fragrantica, I listen to a few different reviewers, and then I go for myself and sniff. So I don't blind buy based on what I hear from anybody, because no one has my taste exactly. And I sometimes also think that they forget to consider it, kind of how it's doing, the quality against the price. So that ratio, I think, is important. Like, is it price worthy? It's really, really important, actually. So if it's a real cheapie and it's fantastic, it's better than something that's like really expensive and fantastic. And that's kind of what got me with these Mona de Orio Alinea collection fragrances, that they're so expensive. I mean, they were ridiculously expensive, but they did have incredible openings. And the room we were in when they were spraying, it was just, the smell was just blew us kind of all away. It was fantastic. So no question about it. But yeah, the journey goes on, and I will try to be as honest as I can, and I think it will help me not to accept any free sample sets in the future. I pay for them, or I'll just take one sample or like a half a sample. If someone wants me to try something, please send it to me. But if I know it's the perfumer themselves, it makes it really hard. Anyway, I'm kind of repeating myself here, so I'm gonna close this video right now. Okay, bye. Thanks for listening.